Okay, we are discussing the strategic planning model, and we did finish on the assessment part where we did talk about the SWOT analysis, and we did talk about its weaknesses and its strengths along with opportunities and threats. Today, as you can see the slide, we will talk about its baseline, what lies under it, what situation of past, present and future makes us to come to the point where we make a plan, we make strategies in order for us to have good results and in order for us to have maximum profit for the organization. Along with, we do talk about the significance issues in the baseline, and we align and fit all the capabilities which we have as human resources and all other resources which are for the organization, which we have to look into it, and we deal with those capabilities. And then we look at the gaps. If there are any gaps, we look for those gaps and we try to shorten the distance or completely eliminate those gaps. Moving on, our baseline basically asks us the questions, why create a baseline? And what is a baseline? It puts everything about the organization into a single context for comparability and planning. We need to compare between the two organizations. We need to compare between the two products or the services. And to look at the bigger picture, we need to look at that organization which talks about their strengths, which have more opportunities over us. We look into those things and we bring it down to one single context, and we plan accordingly for the strategies. The word comparability is mentioned over here for the reason that we compare our organization with other organizations of our competitors. We are being descriptive about the company as well as the overall environment of the organization. Include information about relationships, customers, suppliers, and partners. Preferred format is the organization profile. Product and services, as we know that for us to deliver the products and services to our customers and consumers, we need to take the help from the suppliers, distributors or delivery channels, contacts and arrangements. We need to arrange all these things into one alignment, into one a fine product, so that without any glitch, without any problems, we close in that gap and we deliver timely to our customers so that we can fulfill their needs and wants. Organizational structures, they have barriers, they have leadership qualities, they have communication, and they have cohesiveness. I will explain these things in detail as we move on, because this is just a brief snapshot of what we will be discussing in our today's topic. Workforce productivity, we do talk about skill level, diversity, contractors, and aging workforce. Then we do talk about, in baseline, about the infrastructure, system, technology, facilities. These are your infrastructure. Simple as that. If you have an organization, you have to have an infrastructure for that. You cannot sit in an open air and run your business. Regulatory, in that we have products and service regulations, ISO, quality standards, and safety environments.
I would like to ask about the barriers, like when you are going to plan, then what's the reason, like why are you discussing barriers at the planning stage? Like it seems like you will be facing barriers when you once implement the planning, and then you will come to know that these are the barriers.
Hasib, at times it happens that when we talk about the barriers, he's right that after we implement it, the barriers should arise. But at times, certain government regulations, certain government bodies, they are the one who makes you to think before you even make strategy, before even you want to start a business. They have certain barriers, they have certain limitations where they stop you from doing that business. Supposedly, you want to enter into a business which deals in hazardous products. Can you do so without taking prior permission from the government, from the departments? Definitely, you have to first take the permission and then you have to go and start the business. That is, if you are given the permission. If not, these things, this is just a small example in a whole big ocean of business that there are barriers. You want to start a textile industry, right? Now the thing is, are there certain barriers before you can go and start the business? Yes. Barriers can be of where to have the industry. Do we have ample of a space where you can have a setup of an industry over there? Do we have proper waste disposable system? Okay. Does the government has those infrastructures which you are looking for, or you need to make those infrastructures yourself? Automatically, small things become your bigger barriers. That's what these barriers stands for.
And what does diversity mean in an organizational context?
In simple words, diversity is basically change. Okay, we change from technology to technology. That's your diversity. We did talk about age of our workforce. If somebody's come to a point or to an age where he or she is going to retire, or that person is no more productive for us, then we are looking for that other new fresh person who wants to join our organization, or we want to hire him. Now, that is diversity from that person who has given his 15-20 years or even his entire life for your organization, and now that person wants to retire or wants to quit. So when that new person is going to come, he's going to bring in the new technologies, he's going to bring in the new formulas, he's going to bring in the new system of working. That's your diversity. And bigger picture of diversity is you want to cross the boundaries. You are doing something in your country and now you want to do something in other country. You are diversifying, you are accepting that culture, or you are accepting that change in the culture, their societal values, their norms, their beliefs. Those are the things which are known as your diversities, where you are changing things. Organizational structure, they talk about business units, functions, board, management layers. Customer relationship, requirements, satisfaction, loyalty, and expectations. Value chain, relationship between everyone in the value chain.
Yeah, exactly. I was about to ask, what exactly is value chain?
Let me ask you this question. What is a value?
Value is something which you give importance to.
Okay. In a customer relationship where you are producing or manufacturing something for the customer, what value is there for you and what value is there for your customer?
Customer needs and satisfaction is our value.
Right.
And their demands are fulfilled properly, that's their value.
Okay. And in return, what's your value? Whatever you are giving them?
Profit.
Profit. Now, how to enhance this value chain? By going that extra mile, taking that extra step to satisfy their needs and wants, to give them that quality product for which they are paying you, and in that money you have your profit as well. That becomes your value chain, right? Partners relationship, alliance, long-term suppliers, and customer partnership. We will talk about this thing in broader term. Organizational profile, which is also a key performance category in our baseline. In that we have customers, products and services, financial, human capital, or in other words, human resource, operational, external, regulatory compliances, social responsibility. These are your external key categories or key performance categories to work out.
Sir, why this customer segment is a key performance category for an organization?
Hasib, I will answer this question in regard, I will ask you a thing. I will ask you a question. You have opened up an organization, you're doing a business. Who you're doing this business for?
Obviously for customers. We
So
need
that
customers.
becomes your key external factor. If you are producing something, if you are manufacturing something, or if you are rendering your services to anybody, that is your key factor, that your customers make that important thing, or those customers are the one who make up your organization. That's why it becomes your key factor.
Like I was asking, like you make a key performance indicator for your organization upon which you work properly, and then you deliver that performance to the customers. You don't have to work on customers, but you have to work on your quality, your products and your services.
In today's business, we have so many competitors who are producing, or we have so many organizations who are producing that same product or who are giving that same service as your organization. Why those customers should come and buy your product or your service? That is why you make them your key performance category, you bring them in your key performance category, and you cater them, and you look after them, and you help them out to the limit where their needs, their wants and their demands are to the limit or to the extremist limit gets satisfied, and they will come back to your organization or to your product or to render or to get your services again. That becomes your key performance category. Now we are moving on to the components, major components of strategic planning down to action. It's a pyramid. If you look at it, the slide, the very first thing is our mission. Top of the pyramid, why we exist. What is there that we are doing as an organization in the market?
Sir, isn't vision above mission?
Your mission comes first, and then within that mission, you look for your vision. That's why at top of the hierarchy is always your mission. Why we exist. You cannot say this thing, what we want to do, before even you have this first question or before you even have the first pyramid or first step of your pyramid of mission. That's why mission comes first.
But don't you think so, okay, I have to do this thing? When you sit, you make a plan. That is your vision which leads to you to just, to come into the business.
That is very true, Munir. Then again, you are asking the question which is why, what we want to do, right? Before that, you should say or you should ask yourself why we exist. Okay. Why this organization? Why we have this facility? Why we are in the market? That is your mission. That is why it is on top of the hierarchy before your mission, vision, your mission comes in. Second is your mission. Now here your confusion should be over with, that what we want to do. You have answered your first question of your existence, and now you're asking the second question, what we want to do. Do you want to be a manufacturer? Do you want to be a producer? Do you want to be into service industry? Do you want to be in a non-profit organization, or do you want to be something which never happened in your markets before? That becomes your mission. Goal is what we must achieve to be successful. That is your goal. As a student, your goals are to have the maximum level of education and to gain as much knowledge as possible. That becomes your goal. After your goal, how to get that, or what you want to be after you finish your education. That becomes your vision. And then moving up further, your mission is why you have, qualification wise, why you have what you have right now. Moving down, your objectives 1 and 2, it's been marked as specific outcomes is expressed in measurable terms, not activities. These are your objectives, these are not your activities. Objectives is, this is what I want to have. Fourthly, initiatives, planned actions to achieve these objectives. How can I get these objectives? Definitely you have to initiate. And in your case, you people are a student, how can you get your objectives? Fiza?
By studying hard.
By studying hard. That's your initiative. I study hard, I gain my knowledge, I gain my skills, I move up the ladder. Otherwise, you will be staying where you are right now. Organizational wise, your initiative should be to have maximum number of customers, to satisfy their needs and wants, to satisfy their demands. to be there when they want me to be there. My product should be in the market at all times. How to do that? These are the initiatives you have to take. In order for you to have those initiatives, you have to have the objectives. Without initiation, you cannot have your objectives. Further down, then we need to do the measuring. Indicators and monitors of success. And our last pyramid, or our last step in the pyramid, is of targets, which describes, has this desired level of performance and timelessness. How to get those targets? Having our efforts to the limit that we need to gain, and we need to compromise ourselves for the betterment of the society and for the customer. Why I said society before? Because that's where your customers are, and that's where your customers come in from. Mission statement consists of, captures the essence of why the organization exists, who we are, and what we do. It explains the basic needs that you fulfill, expresses the core values of the organization, should be brief and to the point. Now here I would like to ask again, Fiza, why you need to be brief and to the point while you're making your mission?
Because nobody has time to read such a long mission statement. Besides, mission statement is something which actually tells you that what is the organization about. So it has to be brief and to the point, just to tell the main essence of the organization being there.
It has to be brief and to the point, for the reason that, as Fiza mentioned, that nobody has time. Even you don't have time to spend more energy, more efforts on just making a mission, because you have bigger things to look after. You have to do more things, you have to do more important things in order for your organization to launch, and you have more specified jobs to perform to satisfy your customers. That's where you keep it to the point where everybody can read those statements and can figure it out what this organization is all about. That's why they have to be brief and they have to be to the point. They should be easy to understand. Every common person should be able to read them and to be able to understand them. They should not be so hard, they should not be so tough that I can read it, but I'm not understanding it, or I'm not getting your message. You are losing your customers at that very first step of your pyramid. If possible, try to convey the unique nature of your organization and the role it plays that differentiate it from others. That is a very major thing. Why I should come and buy your product? Why should I come and go for your services? As I've mentioned before, that there are other organizations giving me the same thing with the same value, and I get the same level of satisfaction. Why should I come to you? That is the reason that you should play a role, an important role, a unique role, a different role from those other organizations, so that I can come to you, and so can millions of other customers can come and use your product.
So what kind of roles that can be, which you can be unique to convey your message?
To answer this question, it is very simple, that an organization, let's take an example of a automotive industry. Why this automotive industry is better than any other automotive industry in the world? They are unique. They produce or they manufacture certain cars, or they manufacture those cars which they are manufacturing, and they have more safety features. They have these days everybody is talking about airbags, ABS brakes. They have certain safety features in the outer side of their car, where, God forbid, if somebody is into an accident, he or she or the person or the people sitting in the car are not injured to the level where those safety features are not there. That's the uniqueness that they are looking for, or you are giving to them, or you are being more friendly to the environment. You are not producing something which is damaging our environment. That's your uniqueness, whereas other organizations are not looking into those features. Or you're doing more good for the society by donating that certain amount of money, which normally, if you look around, there are big organizations and there are those big entrepreneurs who give a good big certain part of their profits to those NGOs or to those organizations which are doing betterment for the society. That becomes automatically a unique feature for your organization. Examples of good and bad mission statement, as I have these two with me right now. The first one says to explore the universe and search for life and to inspire the next generation of explorer. Does a good job of expressing the core values of the organization. This first mission statement is giving you the core value of the organization, that what this organization, and even if you don't look at the name, you can have a good feeling of it, that who we are talking about. Also conveys the unique qualities about the organization. Now, again I said, I don't show you the name, but I read this mission statement to you, you will know that who this organization is. The second one is to make people happy. Who it can be. There are so many organizations, there are so many things which make people happy, but the thing is how they make them happy.
Exactly.
This organization is in a business of making people happy. Again, it's too vague and it's unclear. As I've said, that it's a very small statement, and lots of organizations can say that we make people happy. Was that a clear message? Fiza, if I just tell you that I make you happy.
How will you make me happy?
How will you make me happy? Exactly. It was just a statement. Okay.
It's an incomplete.
It's an incomplete statement, or it's an open-ended statement. It gives so many raises so many questions. It gives leaves so many doubts in your mind. That's why this particular thing is too vague. Now, even the first one, organization-wise, I said if I don't show you the name and I just read the mission statement, you have a pretty good idea whom I'm talking about. But the next one is too vague, it's unclear, and need more descriptive information and about what makes the organization special. So these are your good examples of good and bad missions. Moving on to the component part, now we do talk about the vision. How the organizations want to perceived in the future, what success looks like. An expression of the desired end state, challenges everyone to reach for something significant, inspires a compelling future. And lastly, provides a long-term focus for the entire organization. That should be your vision. Can we have more in the vision? Yes, we can, depending on what organization you are dealing with.
So don't you think this perception part of the organization has been completed in the mission statement, like when you formulate your mission statement and then you deliver it to the customers or to the media, then they have a perception like this organization is this sort of thing. And
very true. See, if coming back to this slide of mission statement, you see that to explore the universe and search for life and to inspire the next generation of explorers. Do you think that that expression is over here in this mission statement? That's one ingredient missing in this statement. Okay? That is why we move on to our vision and we are more expressive in our visions. That is the reason that mission is for the public to know that what we are here for. Vision is for ourselves only within the organization. It becomes their internal affair. Guiding principles and values. Every organization should be guided by a set of values and beliefs. Provides an underlying framework for making decisions. Part of the organization's culture. Values are often rooted in ethical themes such as honesty, trust, integrity, respect, and fairness. Values should be applicable across the entire organization. Values may be appropriate for certain best management practices, best in terms for quality exceptional, customer service, etc. Values, what do you value as? When you are out in the market, that money you are spending on that product or on the service, what do you value? Are you buying the right thing? Are you buying what you are paying for? Is the quality up to your expectations? The management did that certain part for you by sitting in their organization. These things are strategically designed. These things are strategically planned so that it's a process which runs on daily basis and it's a routine that you cannot stop for even a single second. You think for something, you deliver to your customers, and round the clock they enjoy those facilities which are provided by you and through your hard work. That becomes your automatic guideline and that becomes your principles as well. Goals describes a future end state, desired outcomes that is supportive of mission and vision, shapes the way ahead in actionable terms, best applied where there are clear choices about the future, puts strategic focus into the organization, specific ownership of the goal should be assigned to someone within the organization, may not work well where things are changing fast. Goals tend to be long for environments that have limited choices about the future. What this thing stands for is your goals are as such that they should be clear and precise, and this is where I was, this is where I am, and this is what I should get by the end of the day, week, month, year, fiscal year, or calendar year, whatever you want to do. You cannot stay at one stagnant place throughout your life. You need to move on. That's your goal. I want to be something. How? To do these certain things by being more ethical, by applying the best choices, and by having focuses on the organization, specific ownership. What is that specific ownership? I am not the owner of this organization, but you people as my customers, as my consumers are. I serve you. In all true terms, you are not giving the ownership to the customers, but you are giving them that feeling which asks them or which makes them realize that yes, you want this thing and they made this thing customized for you. That becomes your goal. Those customers think of this organization or any organization as their own organization. You are doing everything for the customers and for the betterment of the society. That is the goal of an organization.
Sometimes it seems you set a goal and then after some time you came to know that this goal wasn't achievable. Then how would you confront with this situation? Like how would you make the achievable goals? Like, as the environment is quite changing, technological changes are coming days by day.
See, that's why it says that the goals are within the organization. That's where you form them, right? And the change or the diversity which you just mentioned, then again, we need to develop the goals. How do we need to develop the goals so that this problem, if arises, can be answered, can be sorted out, can be resolved? We can cascade them from top of the strategic plan, mission, vision, and guiding principles. Look at your strategic analysis, SWOT analysis, which we already described. That's where you look into it. Where are your flaws? Where are your weaknesses? Where are your strengths? Where are your opportunities? And on top of it, where are your threats? So those two minus or those two negative impacts of your weaknesses and your threats help you develop such strategies where your goals can change with every change in technology, with every change in the society, with every change in the customer's mind. So you need to develop those things on daily basis or on regular basis so that you have you don't stop where you are asked a question, but your goals are so, or they should be so clear that they keep on moving in a straight line. Why? Because you have already done your homework of going through that SWOT analysis. Look at environmental scan, past performance gaps. That's where you look into this thing. That's where you shorten the gaps. As Hasib has asked, how can you shorten those goals or how can you change those goals? Those SWOT analysis are the one which shorten those gaps, and they can scan and look at the past performance that those goals were not up to the target, but now they are. Why? Because I've learned something from my past. Limit to a critical few, such as 5 to 8 goals. You don't make so many goals that they become uncontrollable. So you make 5 to 8 goals. That's the good number where we can do it. Broad perception in the development of goals. Consensus from above. Buy-in at the execution level and should drive higher levels of performance and close a critical performance gap. Lastly, our objectives relevant, directly support the goals, compels the organization into action, specific enough so we can quantify and measure the results, simple and easy to understand, realistic and attainable, convey responsibility and ownership, acceptable to those who must execute, and may need several objectives to meet a goal. Your goals and objectives, we are comparing these two. Very short statement, few words, your goals. Objectives, longer statements, more descriptive. Broad in scope and narrow in scope. Your objectives are always narrow because you change your objectives on a day-to-day basis, on a regular basis, so they should be narrow. Get them, achieve them, move on to the next objective, move on to the next objective. Directly relates to the mission statement, whereas your objectives are indirectly relates to the mission statement. And cover long period such as 10 years, whereas your objectives are for shorter time periods such as 1 year, budget cycle, or even less than that, depending on what sort of a business you are in. That is your major component where you can say that the difference between your objectives and goals are as such. In short, what we have done today is we have compared the two main components of our strategic management: goals versus your objectives, and your mission versus your vision statements or visionary analysis. In short, what we need to do is we have to do these certain things in such a way that we achieve all our objectives and all our goals in those specific time periods, so that our organization can expand and can move on to that. And how we can do these things is by narrowing the gap between our goals and our objectives to give that satisfaction level to the maximum. So our customers should always be with us, and they should know that what this organization's specific purpose is and what this organization is here for in the market and what they are doing. This is what we have planned for in today's session, and the next one we will move on to the down to the specifics of our strategic management as a whole.